Heard on Thursdays with Nikki is about to go live online. Catch HOT, the iconic radio show that made Philippine FM radio talk, every Thursday on the Monster.
Streaming video on the Monster Facebook page at RX931, the Monster YouTube channel at RX931, and twitch.tv/Monster RX931.
You heard on Thursday's host, Nikki Porter. Stand by and enjoy the program.
Hey, good evening, monsters, and welcome. Happy Valentine's. It's heart season, y'all. And we're on the show that made FM radio talk, heard on Thursdays on Manila's hottest Monster RX93.1. Good evening, everybody. You got me, Nikki Porter. Tonight, the hot conversation in HOT is about, of course, love. And, of course, the future. Or at least views of love, views of the future, as provided by our guest tonight, by interpreting the Book of Changes, the ancient Chinese divination text known as the Yijing, or Iching, still pronounced Yijing. He is Rem Tanauan, the life direction and decision-making coach at the Yijing Decision Clinic. So if there's one area in life that often finds us making silly, impulsive, sometimes crazy decisions, it's love. So if you have any questions about love, the nature of it, the practice of it, does he love me? What should I do next? Why is he not replying? She, and other concerns about your own personal love life, tonight is your chance to ask Rem about them. Rem will be giving free Yijing readings this evening, so just post your question on our socials, here in the comments section in particular, on Facebook Live, on Twitch, and on YouTube. Or if you are tuned in from the airwaves or through radio, then go ahead and message us through the Monster text line about your problems, and we'll try to let Rem do a little consultation for you through the Yijing. Love is also the one subject that seems to get us tongue-tied in moments when we should be at our most eloquent. Well, Rem can also teach us a thing or two about expressing yourself poetically, because Rem is actually a legit poet too. So in Filipino pa, wow. He even holds classes on it, so we'll talk about that too later on in the show. And he not only speaks from the heart, he makes his bowls sing. Singing bowls, yes, they exist, and they can make music for healing. And Rem is also an advocate of sound healing. He is part of Taginting 2022 or 2022, the Philippine Sound Healing Festival that's happening on the weekend before Valentine's, which he'll be inviting us to later on again in the show. Heard on Thursdays, Yijing consultant, life coach, and poet, Rem Tanauan.
Hey, thank you, Nikki. Yes. Thank you for welcoming me tonight. Yes.
Yes, thank you for staying awake for the show.
Of course.
As well, for the monsters as well. Welcome back. So last time you spoke with JC, and now you have me, Nikki, with you tonight. So a lot to talk about. I hear that you are a man of many hats and bowls, I guess you can say that. And you're a poet, you're a teacher, you're a life coach, a love counselor or a love teacher, and a Yijing consultant. So that all of those titles could keep you busy. So what have you been doing during the pandemic that's different from your usual career or job? What keeps you sane, I think, is a better question, aside from all of the work that you do?
Well, all these things, they really keep me sane. So
Oh, that's good.
I love
That's
doing
good.
all of them, For
Mhm.
example, back during the first year of the pandemic, 2020, I have classes on poetry, but at the same time,
Mhm.
I also give some poetry ritual time, every sunset. So I
Oh,
just write
wow.
poetry every evening. I also do readings on my own, so reading readings. So these things really uh, nourishes me, revitalizes me every day. So I keep
That's
on doing
good.
that.
That's good. At least
I
the things
write.
that you
I
do
also
for
write.
work,
Yeah.
they are
Sorry.
at
Yeah,
least the things
yeah,
that
I
you
do.
do, they are what nourishes you, like you said. And I think
Yes.
that's really great to find something like that as well. It's
Yeah.
like you don't have to go anywhere else and you just have to
Yeah.
dive right into it. So I
Yeah.
understand that you are also based in San Jose, Batangas. You moved
Oh,
there before the pandemic, apparently. So how are things in Batangas? Have you been to Manila since? How's life? How's life in
well, Batangas
Batangas?
is pretty much quiet and chill.
Mm,
Of
yeah.
course, compared to what I'm hearing on what's happening in Manila in the metro, so
Yeah,
it's
true.
much. It's I'm glad that I'm around here. So I'm not really. I was born in Batangas, so uh,
Mm.
yeah,
So you
I'm a
decided
native
to
here.
just
I'm a
like go
local
home
here.
and make
So
that your
yes,
home.
yeah. So
Awesome,
it's good to
awesome.
be near the metro, but at the same time, I can go back home. So
It's good to be near but also away from it.
yes.
All right, so it is our pre-Valentine's Day episode, and tonight we are treating the listeners to your Yijing readings, Rem. So, monsters, feel free to post your questions in the comments section of this live stream via Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, and Rem will consult the Yijing for answers. So, it is your chance, monsters, for to ask Rem and the Yijing about your love problems, especially since Rem is a love teacher and a decision making life coach at the Yijing Decision Clinic. But before we actually get to those other titles, let me ask you about another facet of your
Yes.
personality, your interest and involvement in sound healing.
Mm,
Those bowls that I've been talking about and I've been
yes.
teasing. So as a music radio station, RX93.1, of course we deal with sound, but perhaps not the
Of
kind of
course.
sounds you create. So how can sounds actually heal?
It's a very ancient practice since in many traditions, specifically right now with the singing bowls, we're familiar with the Tibetan tradition of sound
Hmm,
healing.
right.
So they're using it to it's like to achieve a coherence in mind in the brain, and by achieving it, the body is also aligning to that state, which is an
Mm,
ideal state for healing. The body is the sound facilitates the body to repair, to regenerate. You know, so that's how, and we know this in terms of meditation. For example, meditation also does the same thing, but the difference with that is um, instead of really following a certain instruction meditation, when you immerse yourself in sound, in this resonant sounds,
mm,
then you're automatically enter that state, and then your body, without you knowing it, it's kind of functioning or happening subconsciously. you know
mm. Okay. Is it similar to kind of like trying to be in this particular frequency, your body being in a
yes.
particular frequency so that it can, yeah, so that it is in that like it in that state where it is
Yes.
in its meditative state and it's kind of I forgot the word, but it is just the kind of state that allows for healing. So
Mm.
one way for you to actually do this sound healing, you make use of singing bowls.
Singing
So
bowls,
I would
yes.
love for you to tell me about this and how does this bring a sense of peace and well-being to a particular person.
So these are metal bowls. They're also called Himalayan bowls,
Mm.
Tibetan bowls. I have a tiny example here. So this one, salim pusa. Although I'm using this for my own meditation when I do my
Mhm.
Yijing reading. So, but then my friends or co-founders of Tagintinya at San Luis, she uses crystal bowls, the bigger
Mhm.
ones made of crystal quartz, and Tonet Asper uses a set of metal Himalayan bowls made of metal like this one, but bigger ones, and different frequencies, but
Mm.
all give those resonant sounds that we need in session. So
Can you give us a can you I want
a
to hear.
sample,
I want to try and be
yeah, of
in
course.
the feelings. Probably not that one. Just
This one is
for all the monsters. Yeah, for all the monsters
yes,
included.
yes, yes. I hope you can hear the sound. No, can you hear it?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, medyo mahina lang.
I don't think it's mahina at all.
Malakas pala.
Malakas naman siya. Small but
Yeah.
malakas naman siya.
Yes, yes. Good to know
So,
because I usually have problems with hitting and everyone's not hearing it. So anyway, but this
oh,
is good.
well,
Yeah.
in terms of the singing bowls, then, because there is a way of you to tap into it, but I've seen there are also videos of singing bowls that kind of like you just
Uh,
roll the stick around it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like I don't
yeah,
know if you can
that's
hear it.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that brings me more to a calmer state. Wala na, matatapos na yung interview natin. I'm too
Yeah.
calm.
Yes, cheers.
No, that's awesome though.
Malalasing ka mabilis dito. So,
Actually, parang pwede pang lullaby.
yeah.
No, okay. So another thing I actually want to ask about the singing bowls is
Yeah.
that um, some of some of the people that I know, they actually they have crystals. So crystals, they're a big
Yeah.
thing. And then they use these Tibetan singing bowls or Himalayan singing bowls
Yeah.
or what have you, and they use this to cleanse the
The
crystals.
space. Yeah.
So
Yes.
every I think it's depends on the moon or something. I'm not sure,
Yes,
but
they have this kinds of ritual, yeah. Mm.
yeah, yeah. So in terms of cleansing though, so it can work even with crystals. So I mean, ideally, these singing bowls are for healing the human spirit or soul. And so for crystals though, is there a particular accurate practice to that or
Um People have different approaches on this, no? But
mm,
I guess they are following one similar principle, which is energetic principle, like they're cleansing it
okay.
energetically. So in fact, sound is energy. So when the sound is coherent and resonant, just like what the bowls produce, then I suppose the energies around it will cohere as well. So the frequencies will
Uh-huh.
align. So that I think is the principle that is behind why these things work. You know? Sometimes
Okay.
it sounds like woo woo, but for others we're not really used to it. But for me, my understanding is that energy in this kind of perspective really
Mm-mm.
works, and whether we understand it or not, it always works. It's a principle.
Mm.
So
All right. And so, with regard to the singing bowls, you do have this event. You also mentioned it,
yes.
Taginting 2022, the Philippine Sound Healing Festival. So, for those who are interested in wellness, who probably want to get into that healing state as
Mm.
well or improve their well being, it's called the Philippine Sound Healing Festival Sounds of Emerging Consciousness, and it's happening Feb 13 on Sunday, I believe. So, can you tell us what will be included in this program?
So Taginting 2022, this is the second year of the Taginting Sound Healing Festival. The first one, of course, last year, and this time we're gonna do um, set of performances and breakout sessions with
Mm,
different approaches to sound healing. So there are morning sessions and afternoon sessions. So I forgot our number of resource speakers, but we have in the afternoon session we have a group of 16 sound healers. They are
mm,
doing the big sound singing bowls,
mhm.
108 Himalayan bowls. No,
Wow.
so that's one of a kind experience. Even though it's virtual, but virtual still, the reverberation of the sound is really out of this world. So I hope you don't miss that.
Yeah, if
So
it's more than 100 bowls,
yeah,
that's a lot.
that will be in the afternoon. So we
Mhm.
have I believe we have a gong session or different other different instruments. We have a harp therapy in the morning.
Hmm.
So and we have a talk from Miss Grace Nono, who's an ethnomusicologist, and different perspectives on the beauty of sound healing, through voice, through musical instruments, through sound, singing bowls. And
Mm.
I myself will collaborate with my friend Chris Garcimos, also an instrumentalist. He's the one who's into sounds. I'm not. I'm not a musician at all. But what we're gonna do is to combine the Yijing,
Mm.
symbols. We translate it into sound, and whenever I give the reading, we're gonna combine the sounds equivalent to those to the reading. So
Whoa.
that's
Okay.
one of a kind as well. So first time we're
Yeah.
gonna do, yeah.
Wait, no,
So
we have to slightly get into that though. Like, how does that work? Because these are characters, I think, like the Yijing, like from what I've
uh,
seen. So, how does that translate into
uh
music?
yeah, the Yijing, the main symbols of the Yijing is the bagua, the eight symbols. You can see
Mm, yeah.
the octagon shape
Mm-hmm.
on top of doors. So each of them is so each symbol has a combination of three lines.
Yeah.
So, and these are symbols in nature: heaven, earth, fire, water, mountain, lake, thunder, wood. So what Chris did is, he did this kind of composition, relating to relating the lines, straight
Mm,
and broken lines, into high and lower notes, and then he will combine it with natural sounds like fire and water, so or wind, wood, so, or thunder. So that's what he's doing right now. And then, of course, in reading the Yijing, when I give the reading, every hexagram, we have 64 hexagrams. And when we generate randomly a hexagram for an inquiry,
mm-hmm.
um, every hexagram is composed of two trigrams, the gua. Uh,
Yeah.
so, like, for example, hexagram 11 is earth over heaven. And each trigram, the trigram earth has a sound, and the trigram heaven as a sound, and we're going to combine it in the session. So
Combine it.
yes, so
No,
that's the exciting part in
that's
our
pretty
session.
ingenious. No, I like it. It's a very cool way of like making it more creative actually for people to
Yeah.
appreciate the Yijing. That's fantastic. So for all of
Yes.
the monsters who are interested, well, for one thing, you are tuned in. They heard on Thursdays with me, Nikki, and Rem Tanauan, who is a Yijing consultant, love teacher. He's a poet. He's a life coach as well. So can just tell us a little bit more about the Ginting. It is happening Feb 13. From what time to what time, and
9
how can
9
they
a.m.
apply?
And please visit our page. That's Facebook. The page is Taginting PH. Yeah. So, and
Mhm.
let me just check the links for
Sure.
okay, yeah. Okay, yes. Taginting Sound Healing, sorry. So, and for you to get your tickets, just type tinyurl.com/taginting 2022. So it's tinyurl. It's a Google form. Then you can see all our offerings. If you want to know our program, to check our program, just type tinyurl taginting year 2. So
Two.
Taginting 2022, Taginting year 2. So easy to remember.
Got
So
it.
tiny
Got
URL. Yeah. Dot com.
So who can join this festival? Like what are the benefits actually for someone
Mm.
who's curious about it in attending this kind of festival?
We're encouraging people who are very stressed at this point, burned out in their jobs, people um, who have who worry a lot, overthinking. The sound will help to calm down the nerves, calm down the mind, without really exactly trying to meditate. I know some people who have difficulty meditating. So if you have
Mm,
difficulty
mm,
meditating, at least sound healing can help you calm down the nerves. So I encourage you so much. If you're interested with music, of course, this is an alternative experience. We know music is for entertainment usually, but sound healing is beyond entertainment. It's really a very deep experience.
mm,
It it's healing. So um, I hope you can try it because this one, um, sound healing is really beyond words. Actually, I've experienced it a lot of times, and I can't really explain how it really penetrates your your muscles, your being
Mm-mm.
whenever you're immersed in the experience. So
So I feel like those who might be interested are those, like you mentioned, probably have difficulty in meditating, and I think also difficulty meditating in places where you have to be quiet. And so like these
yeah,
singing bowls, they could actually help alleviate like
yes,
that. I mean, that kind of brain that needs a little bit of like, maybe it's like white noise, but it's a singing bowl. Could be interesting. So for the multis who are tuned in, something to consider if you have a hard time focusing while you're meditating because it's way
yeah,
too quiet. Like me, like me.
yeah.
So, so thank you for inviting the monsters to Taginting 2022. Now let's
Thank
talk
you.
about poetry. So you are a Filipino poet. That is like something that I can never be, and which is so great for you because it's just a really fantastic thing, and it takes a lot of creativity and it takes a lot of, I don't know, like just a lot of really like passion also into creating poetry. So you've also been posting some of them on your Facebook page, and they're observant, they're evocative, they're humane. So where do you get your inspirations, and has it spiked? Has your inspirations actually spiked since the pandemic?
Well, pandemic is really high time for me for creativity. You know, really the actually at the onset of pandemic, I was very anxious, and then I read the
Mm,
Yijing about. I asked the Yijing what next should I do, and
mm-mm,
the Yijing revealed to me, go back to your well. There's a symbol in the Yijing called the well. That's hexagram 48.
mm,
And when I meditated on the well, I know what is my well. I have three wells actually: the Yijing, poetry, and teaching facilitation. So I
mhm,
did all of them beginning April 2020, and really it really helped me a lot to cope with the growing anxiety at the time,
mhm,
and actually help a lot of people. I mean, a lot of friends who joined my program. So and then it the anxiety, the anxiety was gone. I
mhm,
was looking forward to write more poetry. Words are coming down, spring.
mhm.
They're playing around. I'm a word intuitive, so I see words. You know, so it's
That's
like
cool.
if you're familiar with text twisting, it's like I'm seeing them text twisting a lot of times. So, so it's like I used to play Scrabble, and then you know how you can see words and letters moving,
Yeah.
and then I can hear them as well. So whenever I hear them, especially for poems, whenever I hear the word or one line, I just continue to write down what I'm hearing, and then it just arranges itself like a finished poem. I always have this kind of experience, and what I'm teaching in my class is to remove all the barriers so that that flow can freely come to you. You know,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
words can flow easily.
So
So that's
you
what.
said you're a word intuitive, and that you see and you sometimes even hear
Yeah,
words. That is just like, have you had this since you were young, or did this develop
yeah.
later on
Since
in life?
8 years old, and
Wow.
but then I coined the word, the term word intuitive because I haven't found it in any books.
Mm,
So I coined the term so that I can experience. I can put a definition to my experience because I keep on experiencing it. People thought that I'm a linguist or and a language expert, but I'm not exactly. I just see the words. I see them alive.
that is
It's so
awesome.
weird to explain, but then that's my experience. The nearest depiction to that in film is if you happen to watch Lucy
Yeah.
who's able to read Chinese into English, or Percy Jackson when
Yeah,
when he's
yeah,
able
he
to
thought he
read,
was dyslexic, but he wasn't. Yeah.
yes, yeah, or Da Vinci Code when
Mm.
Robert Langdon sees the
He's
words
trying to figure
blinking
it out.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Mm-mm.
those are the nearest depiction to my experience. So that's why
Ah,
when I saw them in movies, okay, that's my that's what's happening to me.
that's so cool. And it's kind of like representation for
Mhm.
you didn't
Yes.
know
Yeah.
existed, but
Yeah.
someone like you actually like
Yeah.
appreciate. That's awesome. Okay. Well,
Yes. Yes.
I
Yeah.
love that it helps you in being a poet as well. So is it what is your process like when it comes to is it so it's just the words, or do you have to come up with like an intention or a particular inspiration that you want to hone in on, and
Uh,
then you start thinking of the words?
I'm not really thinking of the words because whenever I think of the words, my mind is blocked automatically. So what I do
Oh.
is to relax my mind. That's the process that I teach to my students. How do you relax your attention, and then how do you
Mm-mm.
focus your attention beyond the words? It's really, poetry is not about words at all. It's actually entering the wordless. That's the definition I tell people. So when poetry, word intuition,
Ah,
it's
okay.
entering the wordless. Yeah, the experience of words beyond the words. So
Whoa, whoa,
yeah,
that was like Inception. Hold on. Okay. Let's not dive deep. Let's not dive too deep. Let's surface a little bit. Okay.
that's okay.
Okay, so now I wanna hear some of these
Yeah,
samples of poetry
yeah, of
like
course.
from
Yeah,
what you've posted. What are your favorite short pieces, or just like choose one or two, and then
yes,
please share it with us. Share it to the
of course.
monsters.
Since it's Taginting Festival, I'm gonna
Mm,
read one poem that I wrote back in 2018. I'm also writing in Filipino form. It's called Tanaga. It's four-liner, 7 syllables each. Short poetry.
mm.
So it's a rhyming poetry. So here's the Tanaga. Um, sa pagpapataginting nitong mangkok na kristal, buong sansinukuban ang umaalingaw-ngaw. Sa pagpapataginting nitong mangkok na kristal, buong sansinukuban ang umaalingaw-ngaw. When the crystal bowl rings, the entire cosmos sings. When the crystal bowl rings, the entire cosmos sings. So that's one.
It's like how you deliver it is also like spoken word poetry. Have you ever done that also? Like
um,
before
Not really.
pre-COVID, I guess.
That's a different genre of poetry, but I encourage people, if they, especially the young ones, they're very much into spoken word.
Mm-mm.
I'm not really into spoken word, but I try to read my poems in a more. It's like ringing your singing bowl, but instead I'm saying the
Mm.
words. So yeah.
Ah,
Mm, mm,
okay, okay, and so it's just I love how it sounds, especially in Filipino. There's just really something about the way that
yeah,
like Filipino words are expressed, especially if it's in poetry. It just sounds more romantic, at least for me.
yeah.
So even if sometimes I don't understand the words, thank you for also translating it. That was I appreciate that.
You're
But
welcome.
yeah, they're very
Mm,
beautiful words, especially when they're tied into poetry.
mm.
So can you read us one more?
Yeah, of course. Another, since it's Taginting, I'm gonna read a longer one. It's
Mm.
entitled Singing Bowl. So let me let me okay. One moment. Uh, so I wrote this back after the Tanginting Festival last year.
Mm,
So
okay.
and again, my experience is I had my singing bowl beside me. I was working, and then suddenly I just caught my attention, and the words just flowed. So uh, one second. Okay. So here's singing bowl. Yan. It's a longer one. Singing bowl. Hindi ka nga pala basta mangkok, kundi isa kang tansong galing sa mga bato, sa lupa, sa mga nagtagong alingaw-ngaw. na gustong lumaya at sumayaw sa mga paghugong ng bundok at karagatan. Dala-dala ng loob mo ang kawalan at dala-dala naman ang mga awit ng mga ninuno, ang panalangin ng mga lama, ang ginaw at yelo ng buong Himalaya. At sapurin ng kawalan mo ang buong sinukob, ang di nakikitang bagwis ng di mabilang na mga dewa at anghel, ang matarling nilang alinagnag, umaahon sa labi na nagpipingki ang tanso at kahoy, ang banal na paghalik nila sa isa't isa. Isang malaganap na taginting tumatagos sa buong Asya at Europa, sa Amerika at Afrika, sa mga daluyong ng Pasifiko. Ang mismong pintig ng puso kong ngayon ko lang ulit napakinggan. Sorry, I don't have a translation in English.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. It's like for me how I can't translate it too, but then it's like how I understood it was kind of like it's an ode, right? It's like an ode to a singing
Yeah.
bowl.
Yes, yes.
Woo!
Hey, exactly. It's an ode. Yeah, it's an ode to singing bowl.
Yeah, so there. Oh my God,
Yes.
that was beautiful though. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that.
Thank you.
And for all of the monsters who are tuned in, if you want to learn how to be a poet, a Filipino poet, you know who to reach out to. Rem Tanauan right here on Heard on
Thank you.
Thursdays. We are live on Facebook, Twitch, and on YouTube. So from poetry, let's go naman finally into Yijing readings. So
Yes.
you are well actually before we go into Yijing readings actually you have another title in your Facebook that's pretty intriguing because it's love teacher,
Yeah.
so it's like how are you I mean for I mean it is a very curious thing to have, so it's like how are you a teacher of love? What do you teach in the subject of, I feel like it's there's way too many things to even talk about in love, not just romantic love as well. So please,
Yeah.
please indulge us with what
Yeah.
being a love teacher is like.
I started doing this back in 2018. No, sorry,
Mhm.
2008. Yeah,
Oh wow.
2008 until I transitioned to different. Yeah, until I transitioned to Yijing. So, but anyway, it's still foundational to my work. I refer to myself as love teacher. I teach the practice, the spiritual practice of love. Often we think of love as romantic emotion. That's the usual association
Hmm.
to love because it is. When we fall in love with someone, that's exactly love. But that's just one form of love,
Hmm.
and love is way beyond that definition that we're used to. In ancient times, the very first principle of love is non-judging, non-judgment. The golden rule as we know it,
Hmm.
um, and compassion. So compassion is the experiencing the suffering of the other, so understanding the humanity of each other. So these things are not being taught in schools in a way because they seem to be very if not religious, spiritual, maybe something
Hmm.
that is not really tangible at all. But these practices are very ancient, and they are powerful enough to really change the hearts of people. So we know agape in Jesus
Hmm.
Christ teaching. In the Buddhist tradition, they have this concept of loving kindness or metta. So I also
Hmm.
delved into that topic, and then I'm sharing all this concept, trying to I try to interweave them and present them to people how these are all interrelated, and then
Hmm.
how can they be practicalized in our everyday lives, how our
Wow.
perception of ourselves and others uh, with the spiritual practice of love can transform our relationships and
Hmm.
our experience of the world, the experience of life
Hmm.
itself.
Do you
Yeah.
also apply the Yijing with you being a love teacher now?
Oh, right now, because I'm designing a program on relationship readings, so
Mm.
I'm integrating all those principles. So those primordial foundational principles of love is really important in growing relationships, in growing
Right.
romantic relationships. So
True.
yeah.
All right. So Apart from you being a love teacher, of course, you have the title of being a life direction and decision making coach,
Yep.
and you use Yijing as your guide. So now this begs the question, especially for those who don't know the concept. So please tell us what Yijing is, or the ancient Chinese divination text. I actually looked it up, and I feel like the most the most deep, not really detailed, but it gave me an idea of what it was. So it says it's like a guide to an ethical life, a manual for rulers, and an oracle for one's personal future and the future of the state. So this is a historical text, and it
Yes.
seems like from the definition itself, there's a lot of different writings for a lot of different fields, I think, for it, like how I understand it. So please though, tell me more. Tell us more about it.
Yes. In simple terms, Yijing is a book, a very ancient book. It is used for decision making, practical decision making, self awareness, and philosophical study. So in the Han Dynasty, they've been using it, yeah, for moral morality, ethics, and
Mm.
how to become a better human being. But they
Okay.
also use that for military strategy and finding the right time to plant, or to get married.
Wow.
So this is very ancient uses of the I Ching. But in today's time, when it came to the West via Carl Jung, for those of you familiar with
Hmm.
Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists of our century, um, Carl Jung is a practitioner of the I Ching for 40 years until his death. And
Wow.
he's a champion of the use. In fact, our word for meaningful coincidence, the word is synchronicity. He coined the term because of his experience of the I Ching, because the I Ching, the answers of the I Ching matches the inquiry of the person who asked the I Ching.
Oh.
So why is it that they match? This is a very ancient text, and the person's question is just from this time. So
Hmm.
that kind of
Hmm.
match, that kind of meaningful coincidence is what inspired Carl Jung to coin the term. So people are using it for clarity. They and that's the most powerful benefit of the I Ching is the kind of intuitive clarity,
Mm.
to really see the connection, the what confuses you. You can see it, can isolate, can show you the big picture, it can give you the right details of what you're gonna do in your problem, in your confusions, in your dilemmas,
Mm.
in your conflicted choices. So the aging is beautiful in those in that purpose.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned Carl Jung. So, because everybody, or a lot of people, they would know him as a psychologist, but
Yeah.
if you put Yijing, him as a Yijing practitioner in the mix, it's kind of like mixing science with spirituality as well. And
Yes.
then it makes him a very much more complex kind of individual that
Yeah.
way. And that's really amazing. And you also use different, it answers different concerns. So can you give us an example of like how a particular concern can be answered? What do you look for in the inquiry so that you can find the answer in Yijing?
So, usual questions that I receive, if they have made the right decision, that's a decision review. If they're
Mm.
making the right decision, it's action clarity. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
If um, to understand what is happening, it's a situation review. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I also do readings on life direction. So and recently I've been giving free readings on health, love, career, and wealth. So just quick readings in one sentence, which we're gonna do later. So what else? Birthday readings, what's in store for you in this coming year, like that.
Mm-hmm.
I did last time. I did yearly readings. It's a review of 2021 and a forecast of 2022, and what's the guidance in between. So So it's an interesting approach as well, because I did readings for some clients and friends, and we were both surprised that the Yijing speaks so accurately about their situation. I was clueless of their own they call this events in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
but then the Yijing revealed. So
Wow. Okay. And so, like, so specifically though, are there any common questions that people consult with you about, pertaining to? Yeah. So, like, what are the common questions usually pertaining to?
relationship, yeah. Relationship,
Number
career,
one.
yeah.
Number
If
two.
they're gonna do this or not. There are questions like critical choices. So
Mm,
should I choose this, or choice A or choice B? Critical choices, because
mm-hmm.
when they choose one, it's irreversible. So they have to be very sure of what to choose. So the aging answers yes and no. There are certain conditions that it presents for you to choose that. A friend of
Mm-hmm.
mine last year was thinking of resigning from his job. So he wants to stay, but is kind of conflicted because
Mm-hmm.
this time of pandemic, it's really hard to get a job. But
Yeah.
then the Yijing reveals that he has the choice to to resign, because what stops him is actually the dilemma of trying to prove himself in the job, not exactly to survive or to do the job at all. So, and he feels that he's not really anymore belong to that job, so he chose to step back, so, and to resign
Mm,
from the job. So it's like those dilemmas that we experience. The aging presents the scenarios. Okay, this is where you are conflicted, and
mm-mm,
this is the choice that you can make. So you don't have to suffer the dilemma at all. So yeah.
mm-mm. So, if a client, let's say, or someone who consults with you is adamant about pursuing what you feel is the wrong path or a destructive one, what do you do? Do you actually try to change their minds, or do you just let them take the action that they want to do?
Well, in the Yijing, when you get the answer, it's always for the harmony, uh, for you to align in harmony. You know,
Mm-mm,
so as long as you're not harming yourself and you're not harming others, then the aging will support you, because
mm-mm,
that's the thing about the aging. It's about harmony. But if you are and one thing more is that whichever you choose, it's up to you. It's your responsibility to take the choice. If you don't heed the aging, that's fine. You can see the consequence of that. It can be worse. It
mm-hmm,
can be a little inconvenient, but then, or irritating, but somehow you can really navigate those choices. But what I warn people, and just recently I warned someone about it. So we cannot
mm,
use the aging to harm others, really, because
right.
there are accounts in history that when they intended to harm someone, that harm uh, hit them back, instead of the
Oh,
person they're trying to harm. So
so it
karma is
bounce
at
to
work.
them.
Yeah, karma is at work here. So
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
mm,
So, okay, so you can't use it to do bad deeds or to
yes.
make decisions on to do bad deeds. So, Yijing, like how I'm thinking about it, and also with regard to our predictions episodes from the previous months as well.
Yeah.
How did you get into Yijing? Why that when there are more common ones or more popular ones? You have tarot reading, you have feng shui,
Yeah.
you have other kinds of astrology that's going on. So how did you find Yijing? What drew you to it?
Well, interesting, because I got introduced to it back in 2007, and then it took me 9 years before I got reintroduced to it. Uh,
Mm,
those 9 years was my training as a facilitator and a well-being facilitator. So, and that training helped me a lot to use the aging more and align to its harmony. Because if you're gonna read the aging, um, and without kind of orientation, you might think that it's always pretentious. It's like it
Mhm.
will give you the bad luck, or it will harm. Or it's like you're always on the alert. But then the Yijing is actually a tool to bring you the joys and solutions. So
Mhm.
when I started back in 2015 again, and for some reason, 2015 and 2016, when 2016 entered, that was the election time, and then I tried to ask these simple questions, and then for some reason they're revealing. I can see the answer. So it's like I read the text and then I can easily see the answer. For example, I once asked the Yijing how to, if I cannot understand it, how should I? My question is, what if it's cryptic? How do I understand the
Mhm.
text? And I got hexagram 17. Hexagram 17, the wise action from hexagram 17 says, go indoors. When the night comes, go indoors to rest and recover. That's the ancient text translated to English. And then immediately I saw it as, go inside yourself and there you meditate. So that's the immediate insight that I got from that text. I don't read that from the text, but then it's like instantly translated. I
Mhm.
see it exactly as that. So, and that sometimes it's sudden, sometimes it's slow. I'm gonna meditate maybe a few minutes or a few hours to few days. There are times that
Mhm.
it don't really register to you. I've got clients who said that they didn't get the reading at first, and then after a year they told me, oh, everything that you said in the reading came through okay. So
Wow.
yeah, of course, because it will delay you at some point. And then I realized, because I also experienced that sometimes the aging won't reveal until it's the right time. So
Mhm. So, in terms of life and love, though, the common questions also. Actually, let's go with career. No, no, no. Let's go with life and love na lang. Para general.
sige lang. It's
What are the
Valentine's Day.
lessons? Yeah, exactly. So,
Mhm.
what are the usual lessons does the Yijing impart about those two, about life, about love,
Oh,
someone pursuing or living their life to the
yes.
fullest or wanting to pursue love?
Uh, f- I'll start with life, and
Go ahead.
I asked the Yijing, what is life purpose? And
Mm.
it gave me hexagram 5, waiting. And then I meditated on the waiting.
Oh
Okay,
no.
so it's like you're not really exactly doing anything. It's like you're um, just relaxing. In fact, the exact wise action in the text, in the ancient text, it says, the noble one eats, drinks, and relaxes with music. So that's the wise action of hexagram 5. And if you can see, people who have achieved their ikigai, that
Mm.
sense of purpose in life,
Mm.
they have, when you ask them, it's work is not work at all.
Yeah.
They embody what Gibran said in the prophet. Work is
Mm-hmm.
love made visible. It's like they're just loving their lives, doing it over and over again. And I can
Mm-hmm.
say that with my practice of Yijing. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's something that I enjoy so much, and doing it over and over again. It really gives me the energy. And like when you eat, you learn a lot. When you drink, you get inspired. It's like you're drunk with all this wonder. And then you
In one way,
relax.
yeah.
Yes. And when you relax, it's your well-being. And music is about creativity. You're creating. So that's about waiting. It's always a process. It's not a destination. So it's not a purpose like you have to get there. It's like you're really living the life. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's a simple yet profound definition of life's purpose from the Yijing. So
Yes.
what about love? So what is the
Yeah, love.
general lesson it imparts with regard to love?
Yes. I did a reading for some for a friend, and then it's also her first time reading, and then we got hexagram 8. Hexagram 8. Uh, this is interesting because hexagram 8 says the image of hexagram 8.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big H, you know. So and then the character for hexagram 8 is two people holding hands. So
Okay.
that's
Oh, the
interesting. And
nose.
if I'm gonna go back to the text, it says there. Let me just read that. It says there. Um, for the latecomer pitfall. So, and then this friend, she's wondering if she's too late in the romantic dating game, and the Yijing says, "No, you're not. It might be trap if you think you're latecomer." So it's like it's age doesn't matter, gender doesn't matter when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to when it comes to having a companion. That's what it is saying. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So is it can I ask, like, can we try it right now, at least
Yeah,
in
of
terms
course.
of, can I ask something like, what is the universe trying to tell me right now at
Yeah,
this
that's a good
point
one.
in my life?
General reading. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Yes. Okay. So I'm using usually when we randomize it, we use what do you call this the coins, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
this time I'm using it. I'm using the digital software by my teacher. Her name is Hilary Barrett. So this is a good one because the experience is like you're really throwing the coin. So anyway, so for Nikki, so what does the universe? Okay, let me just. Okay, I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna ring my bell. Okay,
All
my
right,
singing
let's do
bowl.
it.
So I'm gonna take deep breaths. You can join with me 3 rounds, and then the second bell, I ask you to surrender your mind and heart. You know, surrender to the inside. And the third bell, I'm gonna cast the lines. Okay, so okay, let's do it. So just relax. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Another round and out. And open your heart, open your mind, surrender to the insights. Okay, so let me cast the lines. Okay, so Nikki, I got hexagram 6 arguing. That's water under heaven. Okay,
Okay.
so as I mentioned the symbols and the association with it, you can see how it calls all those details in your mind. So you try to follow it. Water underneath, it's the water inside us, and water is about
Mm-hmm.
emotion. There's kind of swirling there, you know. There's
Mm-hmm.
uncertainty. There's intense emotion that is happening. So you
Mm-hmm.
can examine that for yourself. Heaven is a big situation out there. I don't know what big situation you're facing, but whatever's whatever steers you inside, that's the situation in
Mm-hmm.
connection with that. Okay,
Okay.
so the advice here is to be vigilant, to be aware, fully mindful of the situation, fully mindful that you won't be drowned by that emotion, by those
Mm-hmm.
emotions, you know, because a lot of things are blocked. You know, your faith on the situation, your the truth that you have, the truth that you perceive in the situation. The best thing to do is to find the right people to talk to, you know, and don't make decisions. Don't make big decisions in this
Oh
situation.
no.
Yeah.
I will be waiting. That is my life's purpose.
Oh my. But during the wait, the Yijing tells you to plan,
Okay.
to just relax, lay down your battle plan. How do you strategize your action,
Mm-hmm.
your solution? So yeah, and it turns to hexagram 33 retreat, so which means you go away from those that drag you, whatever emotions, people, you just go up and then cultivate yourself. It can be spiritual retreat, usually
Mm-hmm.
spiritual. So or just getting away from the scene, so
Mm-hmm.
that's
That's
it.
really, thank you for that. Okay, thank you for the reading. It's very
Yes.
interesting. Like it's a different kind of reading that you get as compared to tarot reading and everything. This is, I feel it's a little more complex, the answer as
Yeah.
well. So it kind
Yeah.
of, I felt something. I
Yes,
felt on
yes.
the inside.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. And for all the monsters who have tuned in, if you still have questions, go ahead and hit us up at RX931 or through the monster text line or through the comment section here on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitch as well. So when you actually have someone ask a question,
Yeah.
you just need the question itself. You don't need anything else, but you just need them to also have like a sense of focus or a sense of like in a meditative calm state.
Yeah, that's a protocol that I do because the aging needs that needs you to be in that state. I remember when I was first practicing it, I wasn't meditating at all, and the tendency, a lot of confusing answers came came out. I
Mm.
cannot understand the text. And then when I started the practice of meditation, for some reason, I'm seeing it more clearly. It's like it's so resonant. It's so crystal clear. It's
Mhm.
as I described it to you a while ago. The moment I read the text, automatically I'm seeing the image. I'm seeing the insight. So
Mm.
so that's why I invite clients to really get into that state. It is just very short process. This is why I tell people it's a slow process. So in fact, in
Mm.
ancient times, it's much more ritualistic. A lot of things to do before you're really able to read the
Yeah,
symbol.
para may presentation pa siya bago
Yeah,
i-interpret.
yeah,
All right. Well, I also hope like the monsters who are watching or were tuned in when he started tapping or making the bowl sing. I hope you guys calmed down a little bit and had the opportunity to take a breath as well, even if the reading wasn't for you. So just that I understand there's a lot of stress and anxiety going on during these times. So hopefully that little moment helped you this evening. So for those who are interested in having a more thorough Yijing consultation with you, how do they hit you up? Where can they find you?
Please visit my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ejingph. So it's you can see that the title of my page is Yijing Decision Clinic. You can also find my website. It's Iching .ph. So
Okay.
I use the Iching because people are more familiar with that spelling. So you can visit that. You can leave me a message in the page. I can discuss with you how you can actually avail a chat session with me or a
Mhm.
Zoom session with me. Those are different rates, but for people who just want to try it out, chat session is a good one. I just recently I had a good chat session with a friend. I reconnected with her, and the reading is so accurate. Really describes her situation right now. Even me, I'm always surprised, amazed on how the aging reveals. So yeah.
Yeah. Actually, one last consultation if we can, and I think this can be uh in participation with the other monsters who are watching or who are tuned in, because the question is, what does the Yijing say about our present times? So we can
Yeah,
keep it
that's a good
local as well. So for those of the monsters, if we are going to do a singing bowl, maybe don't close your eyes if you're on the road, but
one.
just follow the breathing
Yeah.
and focus on the question. So yeah, what does the Yijing say about
Yes.
our present times?
So present.
Without any biases, just
Yes.
the
Hey,
just
let's do it. Okay. So first bell, relax, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. We open your mind, we open our hearts, we surrender to the insights. So let me cast the coins. Okay. We have 43 deciding. Okay. And that's that's pretty much interesting. I mean, in how it is so related with our times right now. Voting
Mhm.
is deciding.
Yep.
Yep. So
Okay.
deciding, tell it to the king's chambers. With truth, call out there is danger. So what is true to you? Somehow, when people hear it, uh, they might fight you against the truth. So,
We live
so
in polarizing times.
yes, but still, the aging says notify your own city. Just declare your truth.
All
Fruitless
right.
to take up arms. It's important that not to fight against others' truth or against others' belief. You just uphold your truth.
Important. Yeah.
Fruitful to have a direction to go. So you use that energy to um, take a chosen direction that you want for yourself, especially
Hmm.
this time.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah,
Wow.
that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
um,
Thank you so much,
yes.
Rem.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that
Uh,
was so much fun. I love the participation that I had to do with the breathing. The breathing was actually very nice and
yeah.
therapeutic, even for just like a
Of
few
course.
seconds.
Of
So
course.
thank
Yeah.
you for joining us on HOT on Heard on Thursdays here on the Monster. Before we go, please invite the Monsters to attend Taginting 2022.
Yes. Monsters, it's Taginting Festival 2022. Taginting Philippine Sound Healing Festival is the first of its kind. It started last year. Now it's a second year. It's happening on Sunday, February 13, the eve of Valentine's Day. It's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, we have many resource people, very talented sound healers, mm, instrumentalist, vocal artist, sound artist, who will participate and give us this one of a kind experience of sound healing. For you to join us, please visit tinyurl.com/taginting 2022. So you can find there our tickets. We have three tickets: basic, premium, and VIP. For the basic, that's just 1 day pass, and for the premium and VIP, that's there are perks that comes with the package. For the premium, I'm giving a Yijing reading for the sorry, for the VIP, ticket. So it includes an arranged schedule for Yijing reading. So yeah, you can visit the details on Taginting and also in our page, Taginting Sound Healing. So you just type Taginting in Facebook and you will see Taginting there. So yeah,
All right. Well, thank you
yes,
so much, Rem Tanauan, for gracing Heard on Thursdays with your knowledge and with your readings to Yijing. I learned something tonight. I've learned a lot tonight, actually. Yijing is a very, very interesting tool in terms of
yeah,
like things that if you want answers to your question. So thank you very
Yes.
much, Rem. And for all the monsters who are tuned in this, well, it's already morning. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again next Thursday evening. And I hope you guys have an awesome evening. But for the meantime, keep it locked only here on the Monster